But that rough childhood did not prepare Kenny Waters for his time in prison. So now we're going to jump back to him being in prison after his conviction. This is our second and final content warning. The next paragraph, the next about 4 or 5 sentences, contains references to self-harm. So still, the rough childhood did not prepare Kenny Waters for time in prison. 3 years into prison, Kenny Waters attempts to commit suicide. That moment, one of his lowest during this entire saga, also marks a turning point. His sister, Betty Ann Waters, comes to visit him in prison, and they have this conversation. According to Betty Waters, this is what the conversation said. Kenny said, "Betty, I can't stay in prison for something I didn't do." And I said, "If I promise to go back to school, do you promise to stay alive?" And that was the promise. And that's how it all began. Betty Ann Waters, younger sister by 1 year, had just made a promise with her brother. She would go back to school. She'd study. She'd get her GED. For non-U.S. friends, that's your high school diploma. If you drop out of high school, initially, you get it, and as an adult, it's a GED. She would get her GED. Then she'd go to community college. She'd get a degree there. She'd get accepted into law school.
Holy shit.
Study and pass the bar and become his lawyer and work to exonerate him.
Oh my gosh.
She'd do it all for her brother. She was going to prove his innocence. She was a waitress at the local bar, but she loved her brother enough that she was going to prove his innocence.
Is this where we get like the Innocence Project or something?
We definitely mention it. It's not where it gets founded, but we do mention it.